Hi guys, so Julie Hartley-Brewer of Talk Radio interviewed Douglas Murray. Now they spoke about Brexit, they talked about Joe Biden and his victory, and of course Donald Trump and his loss. Now Douglas Murray is considered by many to be an intellectual, and I actually find him quite disappointing as an intellectual because he presents very flimsy evidence to back up his opinions on things. But let's hear what he had to say about these three topics.
Douglas Murray joins us now. He's a writer at The Spectator for the US election and author of The Madness of Crowds. Good morning to you, Douglas.
Good morning, Julia. Very good to be with you.
Lovely to talk to you. You wrote a very interesting piece yesterday with a headline warning to all those cheering Biden's win, he's no friend of Britain. Why do you say that?
Yeah, well, the piece in the Mail on Sunday was a reflection on the reality of the situation that I think this country of ours is in. Donald Trump was never much loved in the UK. His approval ratings among the British public never or very rarely went above about 25%. If he'd have stood for election in the UK, he wouldn't have got into office.
Why do you think that's the case, Douglas? Is it because he doesn't represent British ideals?
But for all of that and all the criticisms that can be made of him, he was consistently a great friend and indeed admirer of the UK. And
okay, so now he says we're off to a very bad start here. So he's saying that Donald Trump was a great admirer of the UK. What evidence do you have to support that opinion? Because if your opinion is, well, he liked Boris Johnson, he was a great friend of Boris Johnson, he was a great friend of Nigel Farage, he supported Brexit, that's not evidence to support the idea that he was an admirer of the UK. You have to present some evidence, you know, some things that he has said or something he has done to demonstrate that he was an admirer of the UK. Just saying that he was an admirer of the UK isn't evidence to support it, that position.
One thing in particular was vital to this country. That is that he was exceptionally keen, his administration was exceptionally keen once we left the EU to negotiate a full and generous trade deal between the US and the UK as swiftly as possible. Now, those negotiations were underway. It's my understanding that they were only being held up, not being able to be finished before the election, not because of any lack of will on either side, but because of some technical issues that all such trade deals entail. But now we see ourselves as a country in a potentially exceptionally perilous position because the incoming administration of Joe Biden feels very differently about Brexit Britain. It doesn't admire it in the way that Donald Trump did. Indeed, it thinks...
Once again, admire the UK. You're not presenting any evidence to support the idea that Donald Trump admired the UK. You said, yeah, he was supportive of Brexit and he was supportive of a trade deal. But once again, Douglas Murray falls into this trap that many Brexiteers fall into, believing that if Donald Trump said, yeah, I want to do a good trade deal with the UK, this doesn't mean that he's interested in giving the UK something positive. It's about winning. In his ideas, a trade deal is about someone winning and someone losing. So if Donald Trump went into a trade deal with the UK, who do you think in his eyes would be winning? And who do you think would be losing? See, Brexiteers seem to think that because Donald Trump, now it's not going to happen because he's going out of office, but they had this idea that because Donald Trump was supportive of Brexit, even though I don't think Donald Trump understood what Brexit was, even though he was supportive of Brexit, that means that he would give the UK some favorable deal. So he would ask his negotiators to compromise and give the UK some concessions because he liked Brexit. Does anyone truly believe it? And also, you know, that's not how trade deals work. The problem with Douglas Murray and other Brexiteers is that they seem to believe that the UK is some powerful force in the world, that the empire is still around, and that going into trade negotiations with the US would be tough, but we would be able to face the Americans down and we would be able to get a good deal for Britain.
It's part of a wider problem. Joe Biden, Nancy Pelosi, the most important Democrat apart from Joe Biden, perhaps even more important, have consistently said in recent months that the manner in which the UK is currently leaving the EU would, erroneously, I think, jeopardize the Good Friday Agreement.
Okay, how? You're saying erroneously. How erroneously? What have they said that is wrong? You know, it's once again, Douglas Murray is sitting here, sorry, saying things, but he's not actually providing any evidence. He hasn't provided any evidence that Donald Trump admires the UK. Of course, you know, it's a subjective thing to say because, you know, what I think would be admiration could be different to what Douglas Murray considers admiration. But also the idea that the Good Friday Agreement is not being undermined. It is being undermined. We've seen this, and I've talked about this before. The Withdrawal Agreement was agreed between the UK and the EU. It was passed through Parliament as the Withdrawal Agreement bill. The Conservatives supported it, promoted it. It was Boris Johnson's Get Brexit Done slogan. It was his oven-ready deal. It's what people voted on. And then a few months later, they say, actually, we have a problem with it. Now we need to reopen it. We have a problem with it, but the problem is the EU. Where the EU haven't changed anything about the withdrawal agreement. This doesn't make any sense.
And the American Democrats will not allow anything that jeopardizes the Good Friday Agreement and therefore will not give us a trade deal with them, the US, if we leave the EU in this manner. Yeah. And so effectively this country risks being caught between these two neighbors. Now, as I say, a lot of pro-EU people, as I say in the piece, will be thrilled by this, absolutely delighted by it. Some of them already haven't been able to withhold their glee, their punishment.
I don't know who he's talking about because I'm pro-EU and I'm not saying that this is a fantastic solution. It's a difficult solution, a difficult situation for the UK. Now, I don't know who he's talking about, but if there are people who are cheering this, I don't know why they would be cheering it. The UK has left the European Union as a member. You're in the transition period. The transition period will come to an end. The transition period will finish at the end of this year. And the relationship with the UK has between the EU, the relationship between the EU and the UK will change in January. Whether Joe Biden is president or not, I don't understand why he's cheering or he's complaining about people cheering. I don't know what people would be cheering about. The situation is going to be different. The approach is going to be different under a Biden administration. Because they say we want to protect peace in Northern Ireland. Boris Johnson has been saying he wants to protect peace in Northern Ireland. But he wants to reopen the withdrawal agreement in a sense.
Punish all of us who voted leave in 2016 will finally all recant. Andrew Adonis and the rest of the Quack Brigade will find
the Quack Brigade. This is the guy who's telling you that Donald Trump admires the UK and he's complaining about quacks.
Finally be able to see us come and run back into their unwelcoming arms. But no, as a country, it is not a good sign. And the Biden administration and Nancy Pelosi have been exceptional in their unpleasantness about this country in recent.
Now see what he's doing here. You see what he's doing. First of all, he said that Donald Trump admires the UK, but in reality, Donald Trump admires Boris Johnson and Nigel Farage. Then he's coming around and he's saying that Joe Biden doesn't like the UK because Joe Biden doesn't like Boris Johnson and Nigel Farage. So see what he's doing here. He's trying to pull the wool over people's eyes here. He's trying to say that because Donald Trump liked Boris Johnson, it automatically means that he liked the UK. The fact that Donald Trump's opponent, the new president-elect Joe Biden, doesn't like Boris Johnson, it automatically means that he doesn't like the UK. Look, I have to call this crap out because it needs to be called out.
And in their interference, and again, I've always thought it absolutely bizarre, this idea that, whether it was Obama or Joe Biden or Nancy Pelosi or any other, talking about how it was terrible that we were leaving the EU.
So you have a problem with politicians like Joe Biden or Barack Obama advising the UK citizens to reconsider leaving the European Union back in 2016. But you don't have a problem with Donald Trump promoting Boris Johnson, interfering in British... So for me, it was a problem for Barack Obama to interfere in UK politics back in 2016. I've said it in the past. It was a bad call. He shouldn't have got involved. In the same way, I think it was wrong for Donald Trump to get involved in UK politics, but he got involved anyway. So I have to call these things out again. You have the right-wing media who are saying, how dare Barack Obama get involved in our politics? And then as soon as Donald Trump gets involved, well, fantastic. It means he cares about us.
When there's not a chance in hell that the Americans of any Democrat or Republican would sign up to some sort of trade deal with the Mexicans and the Canadians, which involve the Mexicans and the Canadians having a say over the laws in America. They would.
Oh my God. So what she's doing here is she's comparing the UK leaving the European Union, which it was a member of a group, okay? It was a member of a bloc. She's comparing this to the US signing up to rules and regulations made in Mexico. This is how far the Brexiteers have sunk. This is the value, this is the level of the argumentation that they have to present. She doesn't understand Brexit. She doesn't understand the European Union. She doesn't understand the UK's relationship to other European Union countries when it was a member. She doesn't understand US politics. She doesn't understand the relationship between the United States and Mexico. Please tell me, how the hell does this person have a radio station position? Why the hell is she talking? She understands nothing. And she has a huge followership. I don't understand this.
Would never give away their sovereignty in the same way as we had to under the EU, and would think it bizarre that we did so, and yet somehow take this position. Let me also ask you about...
What the hell are you talking about? This doesn't make any sense.
This idea, and we've seen it all over the TV and the print media over the weekend, this idea that the vote last week on Tuesday, well, it's all still some votes to go. We're going to see recount in Georgia, etc. But we know who won. We know it was Joe Biden, and we know that
finally, I was getting a bit, worried there that you were going to go down a different way. Some other people on the right wing in the UK have gone down a different road, but we'll park that for a while.
He had 3 million more votes than President Trump. However, we also know that Donald Trump put on 3 million more votes in a very high turnout election. It's being billed as this big repudiation of Donald Trump, and it's a rejection of Donald Trump, a rejection of his values, and his way of doing business. Do you see it as a big repudiation of Donald Trump, or do you think the Democrats are missing a quite crucial message from large swathes of the American public?
Yeah, I traveled all around the United States in the last 5 weeks, ended up in Washington on the night of the election. And my view is that the big story of the election, apart from the fact that it seems that Joe Biden won, is the fact that the win was not that great. All the people who opposed Donald Trump in recent years wanted some massive repudiation of him. They wanted him swept, indeed kicked from office. Well, the kicking from office may still be necessary, but the sweeping from office certainly didn't happen. There was not this massive blue wave which had been talked about. Donald Trump did unusually well, indeed historically well, among communities which his detractors pretended that he had spent 4 years attacking. He has done in this election, Donald Trump, exceptionally well among Black Americans, among Hispanic Americans. Hispanic Americans, by the way, are already getting it in the shins from the American so-called tolerant anti-racist.
Okay, so the fact that Donald Trump increased his vote among minorities, what does this tell you? Does it mean that his policies are beneficial to these people, or does it tell you more about how polarized society has become? I see it more as a polarization in society, because what has Donald Trump actually done for these communities? Has he improved their lives? I've done a video recently about how the economy was the most important driving issue for people. And I think Joe Biden actually dropped the ball on that. Joe Biden didn't actually present an alternative on the issue of the economy. Joe Biden presented an alternative on the issue of the pandemic, on how to deal with it. And I think that greatly helped Joe Biden. Once again, I've said this before, the election was a referendum on the incumbent being Donald Trump. You didn't vote really for Joe Biden. And I want to talk about this perhaps in the future. And, you know, I've talked about this before on this channel. You're not voting for Joe Biden. People did not vote so much for Joe Biden. They voted either for Donald Trump or against Donald Trump. Because we don't know what Joe Biden is going to do. We have a pretty good idea of what Donald Trump would have done if he won. More of the same. So when you're voting in the election in the US, you're voting for more of the same or not more of the same. It's pretty much irrelevant who the other candidate is. In this aspect, when regards to the pandemic, people were not happy with how Donald Trump was dealing with it. Now, people were concerned about the economy. They felt that Donald Trump was, before the pandemic, improving their lives in some way. Now, I don't see any evidence to support that. The economy was working well for some people. I don't think it was the case for everyone. But you have to remember that the system itself convinces people that their lives are getting better, even if they're not. I've talked about this as well on live streams, how there are numerous feel-good stories about, you know, people who work for food banks, looking after the poor. Why are there food banks? Why is there poverty in a first world nation? People are convinced by the media, by the system, that everything is getting better. The economy is doing well. Look at the stock market is doing well. If you create in people's minds that things are getting better, even when they're getting worse, they will support the incumbent. If in 2024, when the next election comes around, if Joe Biden is able to convince people that the economy is improving, that everything's going better, even if it's not, people will vote for him. It's not because he's a Democrat. It's not because he's not a Republican. If people are convinced that things are going better, even if they're not, they will vote for him. This is something I think Douglas Murray doesn't understand. Donald Trump, his support increased, yes, because many people were convinced that the economy was improving. They don't really care. Many people don't really care who's in charge. They don't really care about most of the policies. If they're convinced that things are improving, they'll vote for that. And I think it was the pandemic. If the pandemic hadn't taken place, Donald Trump would have won. It's the pandemic that was the game changer here. Not so much the economy on its own. The pandemic fed into the problems of the economy. Many people were suffering. Many people said, look, my life is not getting better. I see businesses closing. I see people losing their jobs. Many people furloughed. Many people losing incomes and their livelihoods. So the economy is not doing well. But before the pandemic hit, people believed the economy was improving. And they were hopeful, many of the people who supported Donald Trump, that things would improve after the pandemic was dealt with. But it's not going to improve. I think it's going to be very difficult over the next number of years. Not just in the US, but in the UK as well. In every country. We need to deal with this pandemic in the right way. We need to deal with the new normal that will come after this pandemic. And then we have many ways of dealing with it. But that's for another video. Let me know in the comment section, guys, what you think about all of this. As always, your comments are greatly appreciated. Thanks a lot.